Hi everyone, today we are going to talk about triggers because it was the most requested thing I should do over the past few weeks. So let me give you guys a tutorial about the trigger tool in Happy Wheels. So your first question might be, where can I find the trigger tool? Well, it is right here. You've got your menu here, and then number 7, you can also press key number 7 and then you'll select the trigger tool. So what is it? Well, the trigger tool allows you to do actions on a distance. So for instance, I can place a trigger tool down here and connect it to this guy here, and then from here I can control what this guy is doing. So let's say I would want to make him fly away. We could apply an impulse with the trigger, and anytime I will hit the yellow area, this man is going to fly away. So that is just really quick what a trigger is. It's just an activation from a distance. So what can I do with a trigger? Well, there is 3 main actions. You can activate an object. For instance, I can activate this plant I made right here. I can activate this logo. I can activate this man. You can also play a sound effect. For instance, let me select I don't know, this sound right here. I'm going to select it and then place my trigger down here. Now I can just go and ride around. Whenever I hit this, you will hear the sound. Let me do that again. There we go. So that is a sound effect. Now the third thing you can do is do a level victory. So whenever I hit the trigger right now, I will finish the level. Simple as that. So those are the main 3 things you can do with a trigger, and I think the most important one is activate object. Now if I want to activate an object, there are some other things that will happen. For instance, I can activate a shape right here. This is my shape. And because it is fixed, I can do all kinds of things with it. For instance, set it to non-fixed. So as you can see, it's right here, it's not moving. I'm going to touch this and there it goes. So for now, let's stick with this action. Let's keep it to going from fixed to non-fixed. I want to talk about things you can do with the trigger itself, and that is, wait, let me remove this real quick. And that is triggered by and repeat type. So the first thing is triggered by, and by changing this around, you can select what is going to activate this trigger action. So right now I've got it set to trigger by only the main character. So that is setting 1. Now I can change it to setting 2, triggered by any character. And now I can make this man make this shape fall. Watch. Oh yeah, wait. Non-sleeping. There we go. So now this guy is making the brick fall because it is set to activated by any character, including NPCs. And this guy here is a non-playable character or NPC. So yeah, trigger selection 3 will allow it to be activated by any non-fixed shape. So let's select the shape right here. This one is fixed. So keep in mind that you don't want to select fixed, but it should be interactive, because if it's not interactive, it's not going to move, so that does not count, even if I place it in the trigger right here. So we want to make it interactive, and let's see, there we go. Next setting is triggered by only targets attached to this trigger. So right now the only target attached to this trigger is this one right here, and it's not going to move. I can drive towards it and touch it, but since it's fixed, it's not going to move. So what we need to do is add another thing, like this one right here, and put it to sleep, and add a trigger to it, this one. Now nothing is going to happen. I can drive through, but I am not attached to the trigger, and I can't attach myself to the trigger, so nothing's going to happen. Now when I touch this brick, it's going to fall into the trigger, and because it is connected to the trigger, the other brick will fall as well. That's my action I set for the trigger. I hope you guys can keep up with me, because this is a very complicated tool to work with. Anyways, we are going to the last setting, trigger 5, triggered by only other triggers. So now I can place down this trigger right here, then select another one, and set it to this one, and boom, it's working. So that is a trigger inside a trigger. Yeah, it's working. Now let's go on with another thing. The repeat type. So for this one I want to set it to play sound effect, and we are going to play the swish one. And whenever I touch this one, you'll hear it, but then we're never going to hear it again. Why is that? It is because it is set to repeat type 1. Trigger action only occurs once, then the trigger is deleted. So hit it, and right now it's deleted. So what we can do to prevent this from happening is set it to 2. And what it does is it's going to play the sound effect, because right now I'm in the trigger. Then I go out, and whenever I go in the trigger again, it's going to play it again. Like that. So yeah. The third thing we can do is set it to trigger action will occur in a repeated interval. So we have our interval right here, and I can set it to repeat on 0.5 seconds. And as you can see, it is repeating. But if I exit the trigger zone, you can't hear anything. So you can use that to play music inside a building or something. I don't know. Now we can set it to trigger 4. Trigger action will occur in a repeated interval once activated until disabled by other triggers. This is the most annoying one, because you can only disable this with that one with another trigger. So for instance, if I would place a trigger right here to that one, and this one would say disable, then right now you're hearing the sound effect, and I can only stop it by hitting this trigger. And now it's disabled, so we're never going to hear it again.